Hello, hello. Let's start working on this. Let's... are we streaming? I can't tell. I can never tell. Here we are. Streaming. Let me share this out. Okay. So I rewrote most of this parser, and in doing so, a lot of properties do not parse anymore. So I'm going to go through this list and make sure that they all parse. Let's start with display, even though width is the most used property. Just because I think A, display will be a little easier, and B, once we do width, we'll tackle width, height, all the rest of them. This is what display looks like. So this is how our parser works, is this value comes straight from the spec. If I open the spec, if we look for display, you can see this is the display grammar. It takes a display inside value and or a display outside value in any order, or it takes a display list item value, or a display internal, or a display box, or a display legacy. So we need to figure that out. One of the challenges, rather than implementing each of these manually to a degree, this is a proc macro. So if we go to proc macro def, this 1275 lines of code parses this and turns it into an implementation. So it is not complete because, as you can see, it panicked because it doesn't like this group, I think, inside of an enum. So I think what we need to do is look for proc macro test and kind of test. So we're going to test the proc macro library package, and we're going to add a new test to test enum with group, and we're just going to group this, and we're going to get this working here. Whoops. Yeah. This should be enum with group. So what we should see is the panic in our test suite, and then we can start implementing it. Yeah. So the group is the problem, and if we go into our 366 here, we can see why, because we just haven't yet to implement it as well, anything really. So we need to figure out a variant name for such a thing. And so probably what we want to do is like combine these two names in a group. So if we say self group, because we know that this structure is a group and it's got a definition, and we'll just do the group style of options, So def group style, options, nope, options. It's the only one I'm interested in parsing right now. So this needs some kind of variant name. Because what effectively we want from this, if we were to implement this, we would have something like display list item would be a display list item. Display internal would be the struct of display internal. Whoops. And so on. And then we would want one more, which would be, I guess, display outside inside. Yeah, and this would be a group which would be display outside, display inside. Something like this. So if we go to here, we have these two idents in the types. So def, the combinator. Wait, what is this? This is a group. There's none. Is this def group style none? And the underlying type is a combinator of options. So def, if we deref to variant name, I wonder what we get. This should be capture size hint. Go on. All the way. So we're going to have the same problem. We've just unpacked the combinator. So now we need to implement the combinator. So a combinator with a def combinator style of options. And so here is where we're going to do the logic. So I think this is fine for this implementation. Maybe this is even fine for this. What is def group style? There's one must occur, one or more, or a range. So maybe it's fine just to rely on the underlying def to produce such a name for this. But the combinator, there's different combinator styles, and that maybe that's also fine to produce such a name. So let's try that. Okay, so we have two idents here, so we can we're going to iterate through the defs, and we're going to map them. Def. We don't need this. So here, what we can do. These are idents. And if they were an ident, what we get back is this, like... we get back this Pascal cased string. And it might be plural, depending on the size hint. If it's a type, we get something else a little bit different. So if the size hint is none, in which case this will be. We're going to get these. And the inner is already calculated. I don't like that so much now that I think about it. Because this is the variant name, the type name. I think I want to call this toVariant type. And I think the variant name should be a little more limited what it produces. I think variant type should yeah, so we should, like, we've got the inner, we should basically take this chunk of code, put it in here, not think about that for a minute, and then this should say let name equals self to variant name. Where else are we using variant name? So this is just how this just has a size hint for the ident. I think that's right. I think the variant name should just expose the name. Let's get rid of this captcha. If the size hint is greater than 0, disregard this. And we just want to say well, is this still here? Yeah. This should just really be length percentage, percentages, angles, time. Yeah, then this needs to do the same thing. Whoops. Okay. So variant name just gives us the literal ident of the variant name. And we can figure some more stuff out in there. Then we have this variant type. Variant type is going to give us the variant name, which we can then put here instead, right? Whoops. Name. Because this will make it easier. Right. So we don't need the size hint here because Oh. Well, this should be the type name produces like the inner type. But with the size hint, if we have like a vector of things, we need to also wrap this in the vector type. I think this is fine. So if the size hint is greater than 0 and capture is sum, we want to produce this thing. Otherwise, we want to produce capture. Yeah. Otherwise, we want to produce this, and this is going to be name. I think I know what I'm doing. Okay, so and use variant I. Oh yeah. That's to be joined. Unused. This should be name. So with this, we should be everywhere that we implement variant name now, like in def ident, hub fn to variant type self size hint size nope, that's gonna be self to variant name. So I'm just gonna call do variant name for this. Just capture variant type capture option ident this should be dot. So now when we generate the so to variant name, what we actually want is to variant, well, so we want to introduce a hub fn to variant type here, self capture option ident size hint usize. This is going to return a token stream. We actually basically want this. And to variant name is not going to have the capture. So this shouldn't have the capture function. Function doesn't need the type anymore. This is just going to be quoting the ident. Right, so then we can figure this out a little easier. So then the variant type, we want to return variant type here. I guess we can do a slightly easier thing here, which is let name equals self to variant name size hint. This is going to return name. As is this. As is this. And so now these can become joint. We don't know what's happening here. We'll figure that out in a second. And then this function variant, we want to say name. This is starting to make sense, I think. Maybe not to folks watching. Commit self now. So when we define the data generate, generate, we write here somewhere. So this should be variant type. Somewhere around here is the actual implementation. Type. Generate definition. This will have, here we are. This should be to variant type. Good. Now I'm seeing this. Wherever we call the variant type with a capture, like here, this can actually be quite a bit simpler. Because we said variant name, we wouldn't need to put the capture here. We could just say, what was it, val? Same here, so var becomes name. And this can be a name without the capture. And now I think this should be variant type. We can just get rid of the capture. This should be type name. This doesn't need the capture. This doesn't need the capture. Yeah. Cool. I'm sure people are very enthralled by this because this probably doesn't make any sense. We're like, I don't know, 7 levels deep in parsing grammars to parse CSS, and we have not got anywhere near display yet. But it's fun. Right, so variant. So this should just be to variant type. Let inner. What doesn't this like? Style is not bound. We don't care about style here. We don't care about def. We don't care about v. Okay. Right. So we are back to square one. Well, we're not. We're worse than back to square one because we've got some errors. The variant name. This needs to be name. Variant type is never used. Fine, we'll get rid of it. Okay, this should be. Oh, we have an error. Snapshots have failed. New results. Wait. Bit content inner. So. Right. Generate. Right. Generate. What? I think I was in the tooltip. So we need to be a little more clever about when we use the capture. Here. We need to say if. So let's the variant name. So I want to also add as inner type. So we can just say here like matches like an ident. I think it's just an ident. Does not have an inner type. All the others do. Yeah. Type, yeah. Combinator. Yep. Yeah, so if it's an ident, it shouldn't. Not here. Here. So we should say if def as in a type, we should quote this thing. Otherwise, we need to quote this thing. I think that should fix stuff. Or not. So now we've got another problem, which is in the definitions. So in these variants, animatable features is a type, so that's going to go here. That's going to say the size hint is greater than 0. So we should start quoting these. At either way, we should start quoting this. I'm not sure why that's failing. Curious. Generate definition. Let's debug variants. A little bit more space as well. Come on, bring to life. So what is this? This is enum with group. Enum with group. No, this is not enum with group, is it? That's the one that actually fails. This is enum with variable count type. Variable. Why? So. Huh. Multiplier group is a multiplier. I guess what is it? Self. Should be already. Come on, compile. It's a multiplier. Aha, so the multiplier cannot do this. Maybe the group can't either then. Is it just the ident that can do the name? So multiplier needs to also ident just return the name. Now I need to remind myself what the old code was. Just the variant name. In here, right definition. Here to variant name on def multiplier. This we want. So def, deref, variant name would be to variant type, style. That should fix that. Okay, cool, that's fixed. Okay, so I think we're back to square one. Right, cool. But we're in a better position now because we should be able to figure out a group combinator name. So we're going to collect all of the defs to their variant name. We're going to collect them maybe into a string. Oh, we need a size hint as well. I think what should happen is we should see. I think that's right. We should see this should be like display outside, display inside in the debug logs. Yeah, display outside, display inside. Which isn't the best name. I don't love it. But I will put up with it for now. Because it's kind of fine. It's not the end of the world. You expected something from me, did you? Quote, let name, quote, name. Also, the next problem is so the display inside, display outside name is there. But so for groups we need to say basically this, but it's going to be, oh, so a group, we need to unpack a group, I think. We need to say match def to ref. What are the group styles again? F. One or more. One must occur. One or more. So we don't care about the group style, but we care about the items. It's going to have multiple items. It should always be a combinator of some sort. In this case, it's a combinator of options, so we're gonna... Yeah, we're gonna match just on the options. And then we'll just put a to-do. Group. Variant. This can't be inner. This needs to be something more intelligent than that. It needs to be like inner types is going to be like def map def. This should be defs. To type name, which needs a something, I'm not sure what. Collect. We'll collect that into a vector. And we'll say inner types. I think something like this might work. Defs. Iter map. And type name needs... Def doesn't have to type name? What does def have? To variant type. No, wait. A variant type. Fine, to variant type. I'm sure that's wrong. I'm sure that's going to bite us later, but we'll find out what happens. Should be size int. This is a vec of token streams, I guess. Okay, so let's debug this line and see what we get. We're on 395, so we want to see some logs on 395. Um, 395. So we've got the display inside, display outside, display inside, parentheses, types, display outside, a comma, types, display inside. These are grouped, that's not good. That's not what I wanted. I do want to type name. This should be... If this should match def. If def is a self type, type name. Does type name have size hint? I don't know. Otherwise, I think we're just going to do another to do. What don't you like? Oh, I'm being dumb. Expected 0 arguments, fine. There we go. Good. We're slowly making our way through. Rebuild, please. So 395. Oh, we're a different line number now. Where are we? We are 401. 401. So we got display outside, display inside. Got a parentheses. This looks much better. So types display outside, comma, types display inside. This is what we wanted. So we have yet to implement the parse steps for this. So we need to go to generate parse trait implementation and somehow generate the code for parsing this. This is a group. This is the failure bit. And the group is a def. We're just going to do the group style of options, which is the one that we care about. Let's double check. We should see 596 in the debugs. This should be group style. Wait. None. One must occur. Oh, let's do none. So, we care about 595 being in the logs. It is not, because this is a different group. What is this? There's a group of none. Rid of some of these debugs because this is getting a bit much. Should be a group. We should see this in the logs. $400. Let's get rid of this. The other one is 1086. Oh, parse steps. Okay, that makes sense. Self group. F group. Style none. Let's just try for an implementation. So steps is maybe going to be well, so we actually want to match the deref. And again, we care about if it's a self combinator. Defs. Def combinator style. And we care a lot about this now. So that it is options. That's the one we want to implement. And so let's say do here. So we want to say defs iter map so here we're going to have to create a bunch of variables which I'm sure I've done before. Format ident like this. So maybe we've already got a combinator. Like we could unpack this to be, if I did no, forget it. So we want to collect a set of idents because these are going to be the various values in the positions of the combinator. We then want to map through the defs again. This should be defs. Oh, let's call it ops. We want to map through I think we want to I think if it's a group style of none, there's a little more to do here, but effectively we can just call parse steps on the def with capture. I'll keep the to do here, and we'll call debug. Because then we can just like flatten this out a little, and then so we don't have combinator already defined, but now we can define combinator. Yeah, this feels more sensible. And so the combinator of options is going to collect all of these. We then need to map them somehow, so whoops, we need to say like this needs to be an enumerated list so that we can get the I, and then we're going to recreate this format ident let capture equals and then we're going to say we want to say def parse steps capture. Let's quote that. Select that into a vect, of token streams. And then the steps that we're going to have are something like captures. This is, let's say steps. This is going to be steps. And then capture equals idents, I think. I think that's what we want. Debug this as well. Why don't you like that? Oh, should be this. This should be some. I think that's right. So we're looking for 1091. Is this mess? No? This mess. So let val0 equals parser pars types display outside. Yep. We don't need the semicolon. Then let val1 equals parser pars display inside. Then we get the val equals this union of these two. Okay, this is coming together. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is. So now we still have this problem, which is 1097. Right, so now we need to, this should just be this. That should get us the parse implementation, I think. Right, but we need to do the right implementation for the same thing now. Okay, so right. So the right step for the options has been done. We just need to do the group, and we need to say if the group is none, was it? If group style none, def, we're just going to call I mean, that seems fine to me. Maybe that's a terrible idea, but we'll find out. Because the group of right to do 915. A group of none. What's wrong with that? I don't understand why it's coming back with the same thing. We matched 914. Oh, with 914. Right steps. We want to do the same thing here. So a def group style of none is really just to it doesn't have any implications on the serialization or the, well, it does have implications on the parsing, but it's mostly just like this is a standalone unit, right? So we should be able to just defer to the def right steps capture, I think. Options to do. Right, because we did the here. Okay, this is fine. This is Options should... What should options do? We want to collect all the defs. They're all going to be present. Alternatives is a enum, basically. Options is a union. So we want to enumerate, and we want to say this should be opts. This should be, let's call this, whoops, was inner I. Why do we need the variant name? Do we need the variant name? Yeah, I guess so. Right steps. The right steps needs to be a little more complicated. These. So a combinator. We want to go through and for each of these we need to say if let. Well, are they always going to be expressed? They're always going to be expressed. Maybe this is fine. What don't you like here? Map. Cannot be built. What is it I'm trying to say? Oh. Just need to return that. Maybe this is fine. We'll find out. What we really want to do is just get to building the snapshot. Expected identifier on test. Oh no. I think it's this problem. Where is expected identifier happening? Let's debug arms. See what we get. Whilst we're here, what did I just do wrong? Debug arms. Let's debug the ident as well. Okay, so we've got inner one and inner two. Then the arms is inner one dot right CSS sync semicolon. Great. Inner two right CSS sync. So this looks great to me. Guess the group right steps is a little weird. because this needs to do more. This is the bit that where we need to say like steps equals let var equals to variant name. And then we need to say no, maybe this is right. I'm a bit lost. Maybe it's the group in the rather than the right steps, the entire implementation. Generate right. Maybe it's this bit. This is going to... So wait, where are we? So we're going to generate this. It's going to be for a group of... It's a group of alternates. No, it's a combinator of alternates. So we expect, so the group bit is going to go here. This right is going to be the right step. So maybe this is not needed. See if that's the case. Okay, so that's not needed. So when we get to the right, we're going to come here. I'm going to debug this as well. We should come here. We should say if the variant is this display inside outside, capture this. This is probably where we're falling down. Play legacy, play box. Display internal. Playlist item. Yeah, so if we match display inside outside, parentheses inner, this is wrong. Because of this. So if we match the def here, the default case will do this. If we are a group, and we are F to ref. I hate this. Combinator. Defs. Do we care about these? All must occur. We do. we're a group of options, then we need to oops, when we need to do this malarkey. This is going to be quote guidance. Unused defs. Yeah, that should be ops. That should improve things somewhat. Okay, well, we've got a different error now, which is interesting. But the, what are we, line 702, this one? We should see, right, this should come back as self. What is line through? Oh, this is a different one. We got another failure in another test. In a lot of tests. Because that should be in it anyway. This is self. Line through equals race HDX atom. Yeah, that looks fine. Where is the error expected? Let's debug this, I guess. Let's just go back to our enum with group. Just want to focus on this test for now, and then we can fix up the others later. And I just realized we've been an hour and we've done nothing. This yeah, this is tricky. Right, so display legacy. Why is there a format ident in the raw? I'm a dummy. Is why? Oh, I see. This is a bit of a problem. That ident. Quote ident. Okay. This should not fail now. Well, it should not fail for the old reasons. We run for all. Excuse me. Okay, we still only have the failing test. Okay, so I fixed that failure. Now what? We still have an unexpected identifier. And now I need to figure that out. But I also need to end this and go to work. So, thank you for those that tuned in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.